I'll never forget the night everything came crashing down. Picture this. Melissa's hands gripping the back of a wheelchair, knuckles white jaw, locked eyes colder than rain-soaked steel. Inside that chair was Evelyn, a fragile woman whose legs had given out years ago. Her scarf had slipped off silver strands of hair, clinging to her damp forehead. "Please," Evelyn whispered, her voice trembling. "I can't walk. Don't do this to me." But Melissa didn't stop one more shove, and that chair would have rolled straight over the threshold. And that's when the front door swung open. Jason stood there, rain dripping from his shirt, his laptop bag slipping from his shoulder. For a second, the house froze. He blinked like a man caught in a nightmare. "Melissa, what are you doing?" His voice cracked like thunder. The chair wobbled at the edge, one wheel hanging over empty space. Evelyn gasping for air. Jason lunged forward, yanking the chair back just in time. And right there, soaked in rain and disbelief, he realized his own wife had been trying to throw his mother out like trash. But to understand how they got there, you need to know the whole story. 3 months earlier, Jason had driven out to the countryside at dawn to bring Evelyn, his paralyzed mother, into his mansion in Houston. He had promised her years ago, no more wooden steps, no more leaky roof, no more lonely nights. "Mama, you'll have an elevator now and warm meals every day," he said, as he carefully lifted her into the car. Evelyn had sacrificed everything for him after his father died, sold vegetables at the market, worked nights, carried him through storms and hunger. Jason had risen to become a billionaire tech CEO, but he never forgot those hands that once carried him. When they pulled into the gates of the estate, Melissa came out in silk pajamas, a smile pasted on like cheap paint. "Welcome, Mama," she said, kissing Evelyn's cheek. The guest room had plush curtains and a warm lamp. Jason showed his mom how to use the window switch. She laughed nervously, and Melissa laughed too, but thin, like paper tearing. Jason thought they'd learn to love each other if given time. He couldn't have been more wrong. At first things seemed calm, but small cracks showed. Evelyn's tea was cold, her fruit bowls missing, the remote gone until evening, flower pots blocking the ramp, Melissa passing her door without a word, or worse, stopping just to throw her a hard glare. When Jason asked Mama, "Are you okay?" she forced a smile. "I'm fine. You're busy. I don't want to burden you." She never told him about the afternoons she sat hungry, or the whispers Melissa hissed when no one was around. "This is my house." Melissa's resentment grew darker when her friend Clara came over one rainy night. Clara, the kind of woman who always had sharp advice but no steady home of her own, said flatly, "If she can't walk, she can't fight. Push her to the door, say she misses the village air. Jason will believe it." Melissa twisted her robe belt torn, but the poison was already in her ear. So that night, while rain tapped the glass and Jason was away on business, Melissa wheeled Evelyn out. "Where are we going?" Evelyn asked, clutching the armrests. Melissa didn't answer. The wheels squeaked against the marble stairs. "Please," Evelyn begged, her voice breaking. "It's not a crime to live in my son's house. I'll be quiet. I'll be small. Please." But Melissa dragged harder toward the bright doorway, and that's when Jason came home early. He saw it with his own eyes. Dropping his bag chest heaving, he steadied his mother's chair before it tipped. Rage cracked through his voice. "Melissa, you were about to throw my mother out like garbage." Melissa fell to her knees, silk hem pooling on the marble. "It's not what you think. I just wanted space. She judges me. Jason, I feel like a stranger in my own home." Jason slammed his palm against the wall, the sound like a gunshot. "A stranger. This woman is the reason we even have this house. She broke her body so I could stand tall, and you call her a burden." Evelyn, trembling, whispered, "Don't fight. She is your wife." But Jason's heart was already breaking. He brought down 2 suitcases, dropped them in front of Melissa. "Go live with Clara. Take her advice every morning if you want, but you won't harm my mother again." Melissa sobbed, clawing at his sleeve. "Please, the world will laugh at me if you throw me out." Jason's face turned to stone. "Better they laugh at you than bury my mother." Clara didn't even let her in. When Melissa showed up at her doorstep, bags in hand, Clara smirked. "You thought I cared about your marriage. I wanted you to taste failure the way I live every day." She slammed the gate. And Melissa, once the proud wife of a billionaire, collapsed on the street like a beggar, neighbors whispering behind curtains. She crawled back to her mother's crumbling hut in the village. "Mama, I lost everything," she wept. Her mother shook her head. "Didn't I warn you? Never let friends into your marriage. Never let envy guide you." The villagers who once celebrated her wedding now pointed at her as a lesson. Don't be like Melissa. Meanwhile, Jason found light again. At an economic summit, he met Alicia, a bank executive with a calm smile, confident but humble. She listened when he spoke, not to compete, but to understand. Their bond grew naturally, dinners turning into late-night talks. They married quietly, no spectacle, just vows whispered with sincerity. Alicia embraced Evelyn like her own mother. Soon they welcomed twin boys, and Evelyn, holding her grandsons, whispered through tears, "Now I can rest." Jason kept his promises too. He returned to Melissa's village, rebuilding her mother's collapsing hut into a modern home. Standing before the villagers, he told Melissa flatly, "This isn't for you. It's for your mother. But I'll give you seed money. What you do with it will shape the rest of your life." Melissa sobbed, understanding at last that mercy can cut deeper than judgment. She opened a small shop, slowly shedding her pride, warning other young wives, "Not every friend wants your happiness. Learn from me. But life has its turns." One quiet morning, Jason knocked on his mother's door, cheerful as always. He found Evelyn lying peacefully, hands folded, scarf neatly tied. Gone. He fell to his knees, shaking her lifeless body, crying out like a child again. At the burial, as the soil covered her casket, he whispered, "Mama, everything I am, I owe to you." Melissa was there too, eyes swollen with regret. "I'm sorry," she murmured. Jason didn't even look at her. "If you're sorry, let her memory change you. Don't let envy lead you again." Years passed. Jason and Alicia raised their twins with laughter echoing through the mansion. Sometimes Jason closed his eyes and imagined his mother clapping along with the boys. He whispered, "Mama, we're fine. Rest well." And Melissa, humbled, told anyone who'd listen, "My pain became my wisdom." So here's the question I'll leave with you. Who was right? Who was wrong? Should Jason have cast his wife out, or should he have fought harder for his marriage? And what about Melissa? Do you believe people like her can truly change? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. And if you believe family should always come first, hit that like button, share this story, and subscribe for more. I'll never forget the night everything came crashing down. Picture this. Melissa's hands gripping the back of a wheelchair, knuckles, white jaw, locked eyes colder than rain-soaked steel. Inside that chair was Evelyn, a fragile woman whose legs had given out